I found it difficult when my husband would agree at the tennis club. He had played for a while and met people, and they would say, come for a braai place, or a barbecue as you call it in England. And he would agree, and the night would come and he would say, I'm not going. And I would have to phone and make some excuse. This sort of thing happened regularly. The night came, we were having a card game with his biggest friend and wife, and I happened to win, which was very unusual. And he picked up the pack of cards and threw them in my face. His friend's wife came with me to the kitchen. I said, now you know you don't really know what he's like. Then the day came when he was going to stay at work for a firm's do, no husbands and wives invited, and I spent the evening with my friend who'd looked after my daughter. I'd spent the evening there with my daughter, and my husband was going to come and pick me up. He did eventually turn up. He was very quiet driving home. The next morning was my birthday, and I thought there's something very strange. He's not saying happy birthday. There was no conversation. I went to the bathroom and heard a knock on the front door. And the next thing I heard, goodbye, goodbye, and didn't know what on earth had happened. Ran from the bathroom to the front window to see the police putting him in their van. Well, I got my daughter ready and I rushed up into town to his best friend and said, they've taken him and I don't know where they've taken him. He was very helpful. He phoned around until he found the police station where they were holding him and took me up there. And I was told the charge was hit and run. Well, it turned out that the previous night he had been coming home very, very drunk, obviously, and he'd hit somebody on a bike, and he'd had somebody with him who got out of the car and ran off. But at the garage, there was somebody who took the license plate, and that's how they traced him. So now we were faced with a court case, and people were telling me that it was such a serious matter. This one he'd hit on the bike had died. So it was manslaughter as well. And they were saying that you may be immigrants, but he now faces a jail sentence. His company got us a lawyer, but this man seemed to be very new and not very good. Anyway, when he heard that I had been under this psychiatrist, he said, get an official letter from the psychiatrist to state your wife's state of health, and we can submit it in the court. Well, the psychiatrist kindly gave me that letter, and when it came to the day of the court case, it was all held in Afrikaans, and our lawyer was not really good at Afrikaans. And then somebody was sitting with me who could translate, a very kind Afrikaans lady was translating for me, saying that the witness from the garage had seen a lady get out of the car and run off. And anyway, it was an open and shut case. And the magistrate said, my husband must stand up. And he said, I want you to know, the lawyer rushed forward with this letter. The magistrate read it and he said, unfortunately, it's always the families that suffer. He told my husband to stand up. He said, I want you to know that I was sentencing you to jail for a year. He said, but in view of your wife's state of health, I'm giving you a fine and your license is removed now, your driving license, for 12 months.